Ferrari lost $3 billion in a single day, and the man most likely responsible has designed some of the best-selling consumer products in human history. When the Luce made its public debut, Ferrari stock dropped more than 7% overnight, erasing that figure from the company's market value before trading closed. No mechanical failure, no safety recall, no financial scandal. Just a car reveal, and sitting at the center of that reveal was a name that had no business being attached to a Ferrari. Jony Ive, the Apple designer behind the iMac, the iPod, and the iPhone, working alongside fellow Apple alumnus Marc Newson. The market saw the car, identified who built it, and started selling. The question worth asking is whether that reaction was fair, or whether £3 billion just got wiped off Ferrari's value because of a design that looked too much like a gadget and not enough like a prancing horse. The Apple problem. To understand why the Luce triggered that kind of financial response, you have to understand what Ferrari's brand actually sells. It is not transportation. It is not even performance, not entirely. Ferrari sells the idea that its cars are born from a specific place, a specific culture, and a specific obsession that no amount of money can fully replicate elsewhere. That identity is fragile in a way that a balance sheet cannot capture. And handing the exterior of your first electric car to the people who designed the iPhone is a direct challenge to it. The result shows exactly what you would expect. Up front, the Luce pulls towards cyberpunk territory, the kind of styling that works on a rendering screen and feels cold in a showroom. The side profile reads closer to a reskinned Jaguar I-Pace than anything born from Maranello. And around the back, it looks like someone reversed a 360 Medina into a random Chinese EV, and neither party walked away intact. Some of the wheel designs land well, but the roulette-style rims on certain configurations belong on a Tesla Cybercab, not a car starting at £474,000. And the Luce is enormous. It stretches longer than an Audi Q8 and sits wider than a London width restrictor, making it the largest car Ferrari has ever put its badge on. Scale alone would not sink a car, but scale combined with Apple's industrial design DNA, which has always prioritized smooth surfaces, clean geometry, and a kind of deliberate emotional neutrality, produced something that the market read as a Ferrari that had forgotten what Ferraris are supposed to feel like before anyone had turned a wheel. Investors did not need a test drive to reach that conclusion. The numbers moved within hours of the reveal images going public.
Why it dropped $3 billion. Three specific things hit the market at the same moment, and when all three arrive together, a 7% correction is almost logical. The design alienated the existing customer base immediately, and luxury brand investors know that customer alienation is priced in fast. Then came the detail that the car had not been designed internally at all, which raised a different kind of concern. If Ferrari's design studio was not responsible for the Luce, what exactly is Ferrari contributing beyond the badge and the engineering? For a brand whose entire premium rests on the idea that a Ferrari is something only Ferrari can make, outsourcing the visual identity of its most significant new model to a Silicon Valley design firm is a philosophical shift, not just a stylistic one. The third factor made everything harder to defend. Ferrari's own CEO stated publicly that forcing existing customers into an electric vehicle would be the biggest mistake the company could make. The chief marketing officer went further and told petrolheads directly not to buy the Luce. When a company launches a product and its leadership actively discourages the core audience from purchasing it, the market tends to treat that as a signal rather than a strategy, and £3 billion left the building before lunchtime. What Apple got right inside. Here is where the story gets more complicated, because Jony Ive's fingerprints on the interior tell a different story from what he produced on the outside. The cabin is genuinely good. The steering wheel carries real elegance. The layout stays clean, and physical buttons survived the transition into the electric era, updated rather than deleted, compared to overcrowded, fussy interiors that plague most high-performance cars at this price point. The restraint here reads as confidence. The screens lean toward giant smartwatch territory, and one air vent looks like it missed its last meeting with a screwdriver. But the overall effect is of a space that knows what it wants to be. One detail stands apart as genuinely new for Ferrari. The Luce carries a bench seat in the rear, making it the first Ferrari capable of carrying 5 people. The Purosangue, Ferrari's existing SUV, caps out at 4, so the Luce quietly claims a practical edge over its stablemate before a single customer delivery has happened.
The engineering underneath. Strip away the Apple debate entirely, and the mechanical case for the Luce is difficult to argue with. 4 electric motors combine for 1,500 horsepower. Launch control activates from a switch on the roof, and Ferrari claims 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds with a top speed of 193 miles per hour, which clears the Porsche Taycan Turbo GT. The paddle shifters stage torque delivery across all 4 motors, while the left paddle manages regenerative braking in a way that mimics downshifting, building toward a combined 990 Newton-meters. At the curb, the Luce weighs 2,260 kilograms, nearly 400 kilograms less than a BMW iX M70, achieved by using the 122 kilowatt-hour battery pack as a structural element within the aluminum chassis. That delivers 35% more torsional stiffness than the Purosangue. Rear-wheel steering carries over from that car, and the active suspension builds on technology from the F80, removing conventional anti-roll bars entirely. The body carries the lowest drag coefficient in Ferrari's history, drops 10 millimeters at speed to reduce resistance further, and the front axle can fully decouple from the wheels during cruising to recover range. Claimed range sits at 330 miles, which feels modest given everything Ferrari engineered to reach it. Who this car is actually for?
Ferrari's position is that combustion and electric occupy 2 entirely separate worlds, the way a Great Dane owner and a Siamese cat owner exist in different universes without crossover. The Luce was never aimed at the tifosi. Lamborghini and Pagani both canceled their dedicated EV programs. Lotus reversed course from electric back toward hybrids. Rolls-Royce sold just over 1,000 Spectres in one recent year. Ferrari watched all of that and still proceeded, because the target is a buyer who has never owned a Ferrari, specifically younger buyers from the technology sector who already live in the premium EV space and want something that signals a different kind of wealth. That is a legitimate market. At £474,000, it is a profitable one if Ferrari can reach it. The real question the stock market was asking was not whether Apple's designers failed, but whether Ferrari can extend its identity into a completely different world without losing what made the original world worth anything. £3 billion says the jury is still deliberating. The engineering underneath says Ferrari's answer is more serious than a single day of selling suggests. Whether Jony Ive's exterior was the right face to put on that answer is a different question entirely, and one Ferrari will be living with for years.